Another one that I wanted to look forward to, which normally would be between 8-Bit and Team Tamilas and Los Leones, where we've seen so many times Team Tamilas always try to get the advantage whenever they're up against the members of 8-Bit, but we're seeing quite a lot of those teams taking that early drop, specifically Reckoning jumping in over towards Torre Humada, Godlike as well, going just a bit down south towards Cruz del Valle. Aiku Soul not having a lot of problems spreading out around the creative fields area, as well as Ronnie is dropping out there. Now he is the impact player of the team and he is the most distant from the pack.
Interesting, something new. Maybe the boys are looking for to pull off. Aiku Soul, they usually like to move in towards La Cabrera, so this is not something like they're stepping outside of the comfort zone. It's completely fine, but still in the past they have been targeted by Raven Esports. So that's something that the players would need to consider. And once again, the drop collision, it comes into fruition as God's Reen, they are pouncing on top of the players of Team X-Park here to claim a 3 points. One of the man gets knocked out, but not confirmed just yet. Team X-Park, the boys are holding the crossfire in a really good fashion, but unfortunately it's just Ninja who's got his hands on a weapon. While the rest of the players, they have been eliminated. It's just Shadow 7 with the machete in his hands, and I don't think he can pull off a lot. One single util dumped at the top of this terrace, and it might just wipe out the entire Team X-Park. The players are in quite a critical condition. Shadow 7 finally gets his hands on a weapon, but God's Reen with the man advantage. They also get the revival back on the fallen player. Now they're back in full force. X-Park going for some pre-fires around the corner, but they can't really catch the players of God's Reen like that. Nicely done. Fury crosses on over. Shadow 7 is way too low. Hands are busy. He gets caught. And within a moment, it's going to be Team X-Park wiped outside of the lobby. Absolutely. Just look at the weaker teams getting targeted like that.
This is such a big play coming in from the side of God's Reen. And at the same time, I mentioned about the 8-Bit and Team Tamilas collide. And they both collide at the pit stop. And it's going to be another shot being fired by Aditya. Last man standing will be taken down.
As I mentioned, just look at the weaker teams getting targeted. Team Tamilas too coming out on top in that duel with a flawless fight. Nicely done. What else do you want? 8 points to rip things off. That's the best possible outcome.
Even God's Reen are going to be happy because Venom was able to find one in that entire engagement. So they've got 10 points to begin things with. That is such a phenomenal performance, and not even losing a single member. It's like a dream come true for most of these teams. But interesting, this time, it's Orangutan who's just having fun in Minas del Valle. You don't have Team Forever dropping down there. Normally, we would always see those early engagements whatsoever. But hold on a second.
Interesting drop location over here, right? OG, I think he's lost out. A bit of a rough thing to recover from. Before OG, the perfect man is the impact player. That's AKOP. Couldn't have been better. That's what exactly they needed. AKOP has been in a rising form recently. Just keeps on getting better as the days keep on passing by. He's been quite consistent when it comes to the frag numbers on the board. Imagine if he gets another big performance, 9 eliminations when he's the impact player. Oh, that's like a dream come true for OG. That will be a leap straight to the top 2.
That's 18 points that you're already mentioning. Even more if you've got a few in the power play itself. And talking about power play, right? You know that there are so many players who are just super active in the power plays. And Ronnie's name always comes out on top. Whenever we think about it, a 26-point banger is something that no one can forget when he wiped out Vashishta Esports all alone. We've seen quite a few 1v4s in BGMS, man.
We indeed have. I mean, not enough, but yeah, I guess decent. Definitely some table turners and some not that worth. But one plate over here, a team that is desperate to get these type of fights underneath their belts. They need to do something as well. OG, unfortunately for them, I think he was the casualty off the start. That was quite a rough patch to recover for. But still, they can easily do so in the disadvantage inside of this fight. Now the action's quite settled down, and it's sort of weird for me. Team Forever, all the 4 players up and alive. They're definitely looking forward to do something against OG here because they know the players are underneath them. But Team Forever, they know if they do end up giving this high ground away, then OG will instantly try and take that in their hands. I like the spread from Team Forever, making sure that the eyes are going to be pinned on all across the sides.
Almost every single time whenever this engagement has happened, Team Forever has come out on top. OG have always lost few members.
Yeah, it's because of their drop location, man. They drop down. And the high ground advantage that the opponents have, they know exactly where OG's positioned. So that's already a down start that's just starting things off with. Team Z on the hilltop. Scout OP's the man with the powers in his hands. Can he be the table turner for Team Z? One big game for Scout OP can instantly change the fate for Team Z.
I mean, it needs to be as big as what Reckoning did last time. That's
8
what I have
finishes
to
minimum.
mention. Exactly. 8 finishes minimum. You need a proper chicken dinner. You need somewhere over 40 points.
Imagine if he does get 8 finishes, though. That would be insane.
True.
I mean, instantly he propels his team in the first half of the board. And then out of nowhere, Team Z as well. Welcome to the party. Raven Esports up against God's Reen.
Bit spread out.
Yeah, it's quite a weird fight, I'm not going to lie. For God's Reen, they're definitely outside of their comfort zone. The opponents are constantly pushing them outside of that. And Raven Esports not in the best possible spot. Hanzo is still pinned down behind that one single haystack. And I'm not sure how he's even alive.
Okay.
Oh, he's low.
Up on the roof. Shots being fired all the way from the back, if I'm not wrong, by Hulk, who's providing a good amount of cover. But how is Hanzo thinking to survive this one? Just one nade bouncing off of the haystack behind him will eventually do the trick. But Orangutan right now being caught by WSB, who were down in the vicinity. La Drillera, they dropped down south of that. And Aru should be taken down now. Wow. Style points, +5.
Rough luck.
True.
I mean, Aru getting caught out like that, away from the pack for WSB, that's a free point to be claimed. OG, with now just a 2-man squad towards that city. Yeah, Team Forever is probably looking for to make that pounce. A 2v4 seems easily executable. Raven Esports, Hanzo is still just there inside of that stack. Aim God, he's got his hands on 2 frag grenades, but he's still not tossing either one. I'm not sure why is this stalemate occurring in the first place. Both of them knows each other's position, but unfortunately for God's Reen, they're out of their utilities, so that's why they can't really toss any nades anymore.
For God's Reign, I think so. It's understandable.
One Molotov recovered. And now, God's Reen can toss that Molotov towards this haystack. It can be a table turner, but this is how the action kicked off in the entire lobby. It was Team X Spark up against the players of God's Reen. They dropped on top of the players of Team X Spark, knowing the fact that these will be a few free points that they can easily achieve. And then another weaker team got targeted, which was 8-bit.
And Juicy's frustration is understandable. And as you mentioned about that Molotov, it was tossed in, yes, but Hanzo is still out there alive.
Something needs to be done. Someone needs to create some sort of a flank angle here.
Fury did.
Yeah, but eventually, God's Reen was able to find that knockout. Does not even need to do anything. Hanzo just peeked out. Hanzo is not retrievable just yet, but Aim God can play a big spoiler in this fight, considering his position is still anonymous. Utilities being tossed, and eventually a return knockout comes into play. Nicely done by Reaper. All the way from the far fray, gets the knockout, and now going for the revive is going to be even more tougher. Raven Esports' Aim God finds another knockout, and Aim God is the impact player. He gets that finish in the power play itself. A big conversion, 4 points. And now Aim God looking to push him close and personal.
Lovely.
It's going to be Hulk to put that nail in the coffin.
Beautiful play by Raven, and they also claim the bounty on God's Reign.
Not just yet. There's still one more player.
Ah, yes. They still need to find one more. And where is that last player? Venom, he's already made a run for it. I guess he was the player who wanted to try and find a flank angle onto the members of Raven. And now, eventually, he's the only one who will try to escape. But as you mentioned, important frags being found by Aim God himself too.
I mean, that's a lot of points, even though he just got one single elimination.
Yep.
That still gives him 4 points in the power play. A big move. Fine, nicely done. I mean, for Raven Esports, unfortunately being kicked outside of that top 4 was definitely something, was a major setback for the boys. But now to start things off, they already get 10 points. That's nicely done. Unfortunately, one man was compromised. With a 3-man squad, you've still achieved 10 points. That's nice. Now, Raven Esports, if they want, they can play things a little bit passive and try and go for the finishing blow with the chicken dinner.
Yep. Considering their impact player is still up and going, I don't think so there's going to be any kind of problem. Aim got the man out there. And this is a good thing for even God's Brain, because Venom is the man who's alive and he is technically the impact player, so he can still play for survival, still try to grab a few scrap points here and there over towards the end, because every single one is going to count as 2 points. So good for them. But on the other side of the spectrum, though, not a lot of good things happening for the members of OG. The OGs are remaining now, AK as well as Wiz. It has been fairly quiet, though. Not a lot of fights in the power play. Because it just feels at this point, Necro, that teams, they decide to play slow as soon as the weekend begins. Only because they want to go for the third party so their impact player can actually pick up the scraps.
All of that is fine, but WSB now looking forward to challenge another fight. I mean, they did pick up 1 scrap point of OG, which was Aru, but now WSB looking to push up close and personal against Team Z. Or Team Z Scout OP is the man with the powers. And WSB, they know they're pretty much done for, so they're here to spoil the games, that's for sure. Team Z with everything to lose, backs against the wall. Dux is isolated. He's up close and personal against the players. He backs away instantly. You can see Team Z providing that cover too. Smokes are out for Dux to fade away. A beautiful nade being tossed. Almost could have caught Xerath. But Xerath is safe for now. And he's also looking to toss another nade towards that direction. Overcooked. Dux is safe for now. And WSB, if they're not able to find any sort of openers, it's worthless to make that push.
Seems like Dux is just trying to bait the members of WSB into chasing him, so that his team, who technically did lay a trap out there, would eventually take him down. But I don't think so any of that is happening. Seems like there's a truce and both the teams are deciding to back off. No engagements whatsoever.
I don't understand why the teams on the latter half of the board are playing so safe. Like,
no idea.
For real, man. You guys don't have a lot of chances to make it in the top 4. I mean, final 2 days left with the impact player power as well. You should go instantly aggressive as soon as the game started. You've got nothing to lose anyways, right? So you might as well do so.
It just seems like most of these teams are now playing it slow to build the momentum for the playoffs, but Scout fires a few shots. QBZ a bit difficult on that range. Tried to go in for that. I think so he would have found a knock had he used the M4. Mini 14.
Maybe.
Yeah. With an 8x.
I mean, QBZ is not that bad of a weapon. It is still quite nice. Scout OP. Rough luck. Well, that's the QBZ for you. KSR 7 this time. He's able to spray him down nicely.
True.
Gets the knockout too, but unfortunately the conversion's not going to be there. That will be a problem, but look at the vehicles. They're damaged so much for Team Z, and this sucks. What can they even do?
I was still surprised there was no one providing the cover to Scout from that angle, or we could also say, I mean, Scout moving out in the open, considering he already saw one player from one blade, was a bit too bold. But yeah, super passive play coming in from both One Blade and Team Z. And let's be honest, if this continues, then neither of these teams will eventually make it into the top 4. I guess, again, it comes down to the same thing, that they just really want to play for the momentum, for the playoffs.
But I would still say they should play fearlessly.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like your Philips One Blade. move that way. But yeah, one blade. Themselves not moving fearlessly, not representing the name properly. Definitely some sort of a hesitation against Team Z there. It makes a lot of sense, right? You also got to move up in a strategic manner considering the power play is already done. So yeah, I mean, there's not something like that's going to provide you some extra bit of points. But Team Tumulus, they found themselves quite a nice suit. They already achieved 8 points, and now they're looking really comfy. Unfortunately, Manti did not get any finish in that entire squad wipe, so that blows for Team Tumulus. But still, they can look forward for a better performance considering they've got all the 4 players up and alive.
True. Vasista Esports right now close to them. And Vixky is the man who is the impact player for this team. He has found a decent bit of success, I would say. Not a lot, but at least a bit. If I'm not wrong, last when I checked, he had 21 finishes in his name overall. So yeah, not that insane, but not that bad either. A bit of consistency. But
in my opinion, Vixky is quite a solid player. I mean, it's not like BGMS is like my first tournament that I'm casting, right?
True.
I've seen Vixky perform in the past, and he's sort of been the main playmaker for this lineup. Vixky has been really good. Yeah, inside of this one single tournament, Vixky has not been able to perform, but still, we know what the man's capable of.
we'll have to check, as you mentioned. We'll have to wait for him to perform. But on the other side of the spectrum, another player that has been on point right now. Manya knocking out a member of Team Forever. They're trying to knock onto their doors, and Solar this time again playing with Some. That means Joker is not in the lineup.
Oh, but look at Team Forever. They've lost out on Omega. Rough luck. IQ Soul. That's the opener they exactly needed. Some is still there. I'm not sure why Joker is benched. But maybe IQ Soul just trying something new over here, considering slowly and steadily they're definitely getting some sort of success with this lineup. Even IQ Soul at this point, they know they're going to move towards the playoffs, but it's probably going to be the rise from the ashes for this team. That's for sure. In my opinion, I see this team easily in the grand finals. I don't see them struggling at all to do. But IQ Soul just driving around, trying to flush out the players of the opponents. Carpedium pushing up close and personal against Vasista Esports. This will be an interesting fight. It's shotgun versus shotgun. And for the player right there in the front, he doesn't exactly know what to do. Wixky jumps out. Questionable decisions coming through for them. But Vasista Esports' secret should have went for that reposition, considering his position was already noticed. He still stayed in that same place. And he got taken down. Gives the advantage to the opponent. Instantly capitalizes as well. As now Carpedium, they're the one to swing back to life. They've got the man advantage inside of the fight too. But look at Wixky. Position still unnoticed. Jumps down. Gets his hands on the vehicle and is now looking to back away from this entire spot. And he will do so as well with these, considering there was a smoke trail laid out for him. But unfortunately, even he gets caught from the top. The cover fire isn't so good for Vasista.
They were able to knock down Pukar out there, but it was Fierce, the man himself, who was able to get that confirmation too. So, Vasista Esports losing 2 of their members. Now it's down to Apollo and Shadow. Questionable decisions coming in from their side, as you mentioned, because they had the Molotov in the hand. I still don't know why Vixky did not decide to use it on the stairs.
But honestly, I'm impressed by Carpedium's bravery.
True.
No one dares to push a team like that through the staircase when you know you will be tunnel visioned on that one single staircase. But still, they made that push happen. Flushed out the opponents without any sort of casualty. But I would also say it was just Vasista Esports making those rookie mistakes.
Yep.
Which they're not supposed to. That was supposed to be an easy fight, an easy push to be stopped. But they messed up hard. Wixky and Secret down and dusted. Now it's just down to Shadow and Apollo. And these 2 players, I'm not sure what else they can pull off. I mean, they still do stand a chance to be in that top 4, but I still think it's a little bit too late. Vasista Esports, they've lost their form.
I would agree with you on that one. And if this continues, then I think so they're going to lose on to the opportunity to breach into that top 4. Vashishta Esports, with the way how they started things, it's just been quite opposite. And Team Tamilas is also in the vicinity. There's also one more team who are up close to them, if I'm not wrong. That's also one blade. So just one break, and we will see a lot of these teams trying to jump in for the third party to probably flush out a few finishes into the hands of their impact player.
A potential for an urban circle, and that's just really fun. If it is going to be an urban circle, but so far that's what it looks like, then in the final few moments it's just going to be chaos all across the board. Unfortunately, Global Esports isn't here because they thrive in this type of chaos. But yeah, for Godlike, this might just be a new beginning if they do secure a chicken dinner with decent amount of points, considering Jonathan himself is the impact player, and recently he's been at the top of his performance. Team Tamala slowly and steadily, even they're running thin on their patience. They're revealing their strategy, they're revealing their position. They already have a decent amount of points to kick things off with, and that's what Team Tamala's realized. They do not need to be over-aggressive anymore, but unfortunately, the zone moves away from the boys. And now it's time to step outside of your comfort zone and try and be a little bit more dominant.
Now you need to have the control over towards this western part on all those hills. And considering the number of teams that are remaining alive right now, I think so this one circle is going to delete a few teams out there, maybe a couple of them. But we still would have at least 10 to 12 teams remaining.
I'm not going to lie, I genuinely thought today we might just see a lot of those YOLO moments.
But, I mean, here's the thing. You mentioned about Global Esports thriving in this. If Global Esports were here, we would not have had these many teams remaining.
I mean, maybe Global Esports would have wiped out 2 or 3. But in my opinion, that's still a lot of teams still surviving. So, teams are playing it way too tactical. I don't understand the main thinking behind that, considering the weekend really allows you to play aggressive. It really rewards you to play aggressive, but still teams are playing it passive. I'm not sure what the main thinking behind that's going to be, but Godlike, in my opinion, they're probably going to get caught off guard with this rotation. And that's what's exactly happening. Z-God gets caught! This is what happens when you do not know where you're moving. And Godlike, with an unplanned rotation, they get caught.
And it's Scout as well, getting the confirmation. Wait a second. What was Venom doing? Venom jumped out of a moving vehicle. Now he's down on his knees.
I mean,
and he's been taken down. Wait, what?
He still secured 12 points. I mean, his team secured 12 points. In my opinion, that's still a decent amount of points to get kicked out with. But look at Godlike. All the patience for what? To get caught by Team Forever and Team Z? Not worth it at all. Absolutely not worth it. They pulled off such a long rotation just to get caught like this. It's not going to work out that well. But Admino with a beautiful nade returns back to favor as even Ash gets knocked out. And Punk is the one to get another one down for Team Forever. Ninja gets confirmed. Godlike down to a 3-man squad. At least Jonathan is still alive, so there's a decent bit of chance for Godlike to pull off a miraculous game here.
True. Z-God has been a pillar for the side of Godlike though, in quite a few situations, specifically when we talk about those clutches. But as you mentioned, questionable rotation coming in from them, having no information about the area whatsoever. And as we were talking about it, we've lost a couple of teams already. 25 more seconds for the blue to catch up to that white line.
Okay, nicely done, Admino. Catches a man slip by. Lacking, and OG, they lose out on this shot instantly. At least they're cleaning up the zone in the outskirts, so I like that. The blue zone is slowly and steadily being cleared out by the players of Godlike.
Oh my
God. And now OG's
God.
last man, which is AKOP, slowly and steadily moving into the safer lines. But look at the zone. It shifts right on top of the players of CG, outside of the urban area. And now every single team in the cities will be forced to move outside of their comfort zone, out in the open. And this is where the chaos is going to break loose.
Reckoning, Aiku Soul, and Carnival Gaming have got the best opportunity to capitalize onto the position they are holding. But I feel they can also try and go in for a few scrap points with all the teams who will be fighting against each other. As you mentioned about that AKOP has also been found, finished, and secured. WSB going up against the members of Team Z. Saeed finding a return knock.
The only way Godlike can actually make it inside of the zone is by wiping out Aiku's soul. Now that's going to be an iconic fight. One blade, even they're under heavy fire. Another team gets eliminated from this entire game. That's quite a rough patch for that team to recover from. Raven Esports taking out another formidable opponent, not in the game anymore. But Reckoning and Team Tamila's bounty still up for grabs. These two teams can be a big table turner, either for themselves or for the opponent.
True.
Team Z with a 3-man squad. Looking pretty nice. Closer to the enemies. One man is spread out a little bit. The best part is, at least they've got all the 4 players up and alive. Scout OP was taken down a while ago, but he's managed to acquire 3 finishes. So that's 6 points in total. Team Z right now, they've got 7 points. That's nice. Now Team Z, they at least need a chicken dinner to live up to it. One blade with all the 4 players up and alive. Team Z now are the main attraction.
On the other side, though, I wanted to see what's happening between Carpadium as well as Reckoning. Gravity confirms another player. Dinosaurs is already down on his knees.
Oh
Jumps
my
up,
God!
And it's Pokar falling down on his knees now.
Reckoning Esports slowly and steadily clenching their fists inside of this fight, as they are probably the one to come out on top. But then no says fears from Carpadium as he wipes out the entirety of Reckoning Esports. And that's also going to be the bounty claimed by Carpadium.
Amazing performance, but right now, Maxi from Team Tamilas wants to join into the action, but has already lost a couple of players from his team, so it has to stop. He's been fired upon from multiple directions, and you were mentioning about Team Z. That's going to be Team Tamilas taken down entirely. We'll have to check if it's Aiku's soul catching that bounty as well.
I'm pretty sure Team Tamilas, they were being ripped apart from all the different directions.
Yep.
So yeah, the eliminations are equally distributed all across the board. Even Godlike was taking shots against them. But Aiku's soul now, a bit of a problem for them erupting as Ronnie gets knocked out. One blade, they have stepped inside of the fray too, but this nade from Knuckle can be the table turner. It tosses on quite close, but not close enough to find any sort of knockouts. Nothing critical happening just yet. Knuckle tosses another nade, and that's going to be way too off the mark. It's time to back out and reunite with the teammates, and that's what Knuckle is doing. Even Wasista Esports takes an exit from the game eventually. They did not have a lot of points to close things off. But for CG, they're right next to the players of Aiku's Soul in a really good spot. And they're also controlling the entire tempo of this last zone.
But the only problem about that entire position is, in fact, that all the fights are taking place on the other side of this hill. So they can't be a part of it whatsoever. And they've got absolutely 0 points till now. So unless you flush out the last few finishes in the hands of Hector, I don't see Carnival getting any value out of this chicken dinner, even if they get it.
I think so. CG is trying to do the same thing that Revenue Esports is doing here, man.
They're far behind.
On the last day, they were probably going to try to ace it. Yes, they're far behind, but if they do get this chicken dinner, it's still consistently, slowly and steadily moving up with a snail pace approach. If they do find themselves in the top 8 at the end of the day, that's still good in my opinion. Godlike though, Punk is knocked out. That's quite rough. Getting the revival back is going to be easy. It's not that difficult, but for Godlike, they've already secured a decent amount of finishes underneath their belt. They're looking quite decent. Jonathan is still up and alive, the impact player himself. And now Godlike, traveling on their feet. They're taking too much damage upon themselves.
Ronnie.
Even the backs are against the wall as the wall of death closes on up. Punk is taking too much damage upon himself. Ronnie could have been knocked out in return. Godlike now being held back. And Aiku's Soul, exactly this is what they wanted. Ronnie's still up and alive. He's claiming a few points here and there. Aiku's Soul with 8 finishes on the board so far. Jonathan gets a chance to move inside of the zone, but unfortunately he will be claimed as well.
9 points for the side of Godlike. Fairly decent, you could say. But enough, is it enough to bring them into the breaching point for top 4? Absolutely not. Fierce out here doing so much for his team right now. Finally, this man has awoken. And it seems like what a time to do that. Some jumps down his power, tries to take a few shots. Man is also close by to Neo.
Oh no, is that a nade? I'm not sure. And Goblin is taking a lot of damage. He gets knocked out and finished. Aiku Soul, hold on, they still do stand a solid chance to convert this fight in their favor. Another fallen man gets back up on his feet. Ronnie and Knuckle up and alive, the two of the main fragging players for Aiku Soul, still in the race as the man traverses through the open grounds. Knuckle gets caught, and CG, now this is the advantageous spot. CG cannot lose for him. A 3-man squad alive against a 2-man squad of Carpadium and 1 man of Aiku Soul.
I still have this one small question. Why is Hector all the way behind every other teammate? He's the impact player. You would have wanted to you would have wanted him to be in these situations to try and get those finishes.
I guess he's the man to be in the back lines and secure the eliminations, the finishing blow, right?
No, he's
Collect
not
the
doing
knocked out
that.
players.
He's not doing that. Every single finish has been collected by the players who were up front.
Yeah, because the approach for the opponents have been that way. But yeah, I do understand what you're trying to say here. But CG, I don't think so they're letting this rule phase them away from their main gameplay. Their main play style is this way, and they're going to stick to that way. Carpadium now with the last 2 remaining players. I'm not sure what their gameplay is going to be, but Fierce gets caught out in the open. Does not have a lot of room for error anyways. And now Picard's going to be the last remaining player. Even he gets spotted, and he will be taken down. CG, they claimed the chicken dinner in the first game, but still, this game was